Hey guys, Kyle here. And Kyle explains a lot of things, and it's been a busy couple weeks for me. Not only is it the holiday season, and first and foremost, I hope everyone has a happy holiday, whatever you celebrate. I celebrate Christmas. Even if you're doing nothing, I hope that everyone has a really relaxing time the next couple days and has a great new year. Okay, so first and foremost, it's been a busy couple weeks for me, and so I haven't really been able to do as much as I usually do. Sometimes I'd skip out on my morning activities that I usually do. I usually do like a miracle morning and things like that, and drum practice. But work's been really busy for me, and I had to cover someone. They let someone go, and I had to cover the shift, and this one guy took off yesterday. And so it was one of the most stressful, busiest days ever. But deep down inside, I knew that I was going to get through it and that I was going to win the day. And I did, even though I did feel a bit stressed out. But that led me to the idea of understanding how to control anger and stress in those types of situations. And I think the first thing to realize in that situation is it going to kill you? Are you going to, like, disappear if you fail or if you mess up? Sometimes we build these ideas in our head that if we don't do this, the world's gonna end, or if we don't, I don't know, we just build up this pressure like, oh, I must do this, and if I don't, then I'm gonna feel really bad and I failed, when that's not the case. I mean, first and foremost, when you fail and mess up and make mistakes, you should be happy, because that is when you learn. That is when you learn things. When you make mistakes, you tend to remember them, especially if they're pretty big. If you lose your job, for example, which, you don't want to do, obviously, but you learn something about yourself. Whether if something was the right fit or you just made a mistake, you will always remember that. And so you got to look at something like that as a positive for the most part. Now, I didn't lose my job, obviously, but I did a great job for what I had to deal with, because what I had to do was something I never really did before, and I was completely foreign in this position. And no one really taught me anything, but I had to really do a lot of problem solving, which thankfully I'm really good at. But that is the one thing. We have to break down stress. We have to break down stress. And I don't know if you're a visual person, you could write it down on a piece of paper, on the stress, the thing that stresses you out, and kind of break it down into like a flow chart. Like, what if I fail? What do I think is going to happen? What's really going to happen? And you find out, when you look at it that way, that it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. There's no judgment. There's no anything. The only judgment that comes that's really big is from ourselves and what we build them up to be. And we can apply this to rejection and all types of things. Like, for example, a lot of people are afraid to ask people out on a date or something, for like a guy or a girl. And like, you think like you're going to die if you talk to this girl, or God forbid she like says no, or they're rude or ignorant or whatever it might be. But then you realize, is it a big deal? No. But you did gain something. You learned something about yourself, and you move on from it. You take that experience and you grow from it. The next time it happens, you'll kind of figure out, okay, I'm not into this type of person, or I'm not into this type of opportunity that presents itself. But the key is, obviously, in the abundance of things, there's abundance of opportunities every day. We just have, goggles on, they're fogged up, and so, you'll have many more opportunities to succeed, or to do whatever you want, job or things like that. So eventually down the road, you're gonna find that right fit with whatever it might be. But in terms of stress, we find out that stress is just a facade that looks scary, and it's intimidating, and it really attaches to all your fears and your feelings and your emotions. But then you realize, when you start practicing the idea, like, is this really stressful? Or am I just defining it as something and making it bigger than it needs to be? So that's something I would suggest people do. And I kind of been doing that when I felt stressed. You know, I take a couple of deep breaths and look at the situation clearly and in a way that's not exaggerated or, you know, building a mountain out of a tiny anthill, you know. So, I'm very proud of myself for getting through that situation. And I'm sure you guys would be proud of yourselves through getting in a future situation and being able to break it down and get through it. But but it is also almost a new year, 2020, a new decade. Isn't that crazy? It seems like 2010 was yesterday, and that was when I graduated high school. I was 18, and that does seem like yesterday. And I still look the same as I was when I was 18. So just more facial hair, I guess. But this is a great time to really look back at this past decade and see how much that we accomplished. For example, there are so many things that I've done this past year that just amazes me. Things that I used to do. I used to drink coffee all the time. I didn't drink any water hardly. I eat like crap. I used to just like, you know, I didn't take care of myself properly. Slept whenever, you know, complained about stupid things, was ungrateful. And now, like, compared now, I'm very super appreciative of a lot of things. And I have new perspectives on things like that. And, you know, I think this is a great time to reflect and look at things and then kind of see how this next decade's going to play out. You know, what goals do you have? Set them. Long-term goals. Start a family, house, car, college, I don't know, grades, hobbies, new friends, whatever it might be, travel, and kind of like write them down, you know, just word vomit a bunch of things out on a piece of paper and see what you want to do with your life. I got a lot of goals for sure. It doesn't mean I need to hit them, but it's just something that I would like to do. And so if you like to do them, then you kind of see how you can get to them. And especially when it's written down, you're more likely to do it. But, you know, just look at how much you guys have done the past 10 years. You'll be astonished. You'll feel very proud. And you'll feel very motivated because you'll be like, you know, I did all that 10 years ago. What can I do these next 10 years? And the thing is, when you realize that you did a lot this past 10 years, you'll get more done faster because you've learned a lot of new ways to get things done and whatnot. Especially for me, like, I never in my life thought I'd be a journal person, and now I love planners and things like that. I never thought I would read. I love reading books. I never thought I'd get into meditation, stuff like that. You know, now I'm into that, or yoga. So, partially, that was why I got my haircut, you know, new decade. But, you know, that's something I also would suggest you guys should do. And like I said, I'll just sum it up. You know, look at stress, break it apart, understand what it really is, and understand it's not going to kill you. It's what we make it to be, and make it something silly, make it something stupid, and realize that, you know, that is nothing to be afraid of, and, you know, we can get through it. And if something doesn't work out, there's many more opportunities. And secondly, reflect this past 10 years, create some new goals for next decade, for 2020 and beyond. And, you know, be appreciative of all the things, all the self-growth that you guys made in the past 10 years. And, you know, I hope you guys have a great holiday, all right? I'll talk to you guys hopefully next week. We'll be talking about something different, hopefully when I have time. Hopefully it gets less busy at work. But I'll talk to you guys, all right? See you later.